Guys, welcome back. That's right. This is a financial video of sorts from Rattle here. And this is essentially my be smart, do it the easy way. Don't overanalyze. You don't need to. If you know what's going on, this is a true test. If you know what's going on here, you're going to see these examples. You're going to be like, yeah, that all makes sense. We totally know that. And the time that you spend in Pokemon, learning about Pokemon, the time that you spend in Pokemon, buying Pokemon smartly, you're going to do it. We're going to do it in a smart way. I know I don't set the best example with opening a ton of product. That's number one step in this here. Opening product is a bad financial decision. If you want to open product, do it. Do it to some extent that you're comfortable with, but don't expect to be printing dollar bills by opening Pokemon card packs. Trust me, that Evolving Skies opening that we did on the channel here, that absolutely pumped my buns. But we're making content at the same time. We're having fun with it. It is a hobby. So I guess priority is that you're having fun. But that doesn't mean that you can't make some sick, nasty decisions that, lead you to end up with a better collection, end up making some money off of it, end up any of that stuff. As long as if you want to get the best bang for your buck, you got to make smart decisions. And that's what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about when to buy singles. This is a lot of stuff that I've kind of mentioned in videos over and over again. People are probably sick of hearing it if they watch all the videos. But if you don't watch all the videos, this is probably the video you want to watch so that you don't burn money. This is the anti-burning money Rattle video. All right, we're not chasing the hot and sexy new thing. That is the biggest issue. That is the biggest mistake anyone makes at any point. Sure, if you're in there flipping and dipping, that's not for me. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to flip and dip. That's too much work. Why are we doing that? We're investing time here. We're investing time, not flipper actions. Little transactions. Yes, can you grind your ass off and make a bunch of money that way? Sure. Is that what I enjoy? No, not really. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be buying something, making $2 off of it, dealing with scammies, all that kind of stuff. Not my thing. Not what I'm aiming for. Not what I was ever aiming for. Again, primarily looking to build my collection with the Pokemon stuff. Also, well, I guess more on the content end of things than on the flipping and dipping. The intense flipping and dipping is what we're gonna get into, or what I'm getting at there. So we're gonna talk about the pandemic. For anyone that doesn't know, pandemic, I basically shut down buying vintage stuff. I want one of every English card. Basically stopped. I was just like, okay, that's it. This is too sharp. It is going up too fast. The roller coaster it's got to come down at some point. No, is it ever going to be the same price as it was beforehand? I didn't expect that, but I did expect the fact that if something goes up in price just insanely fast, you gotta expect it to come back down. Again, none of this is really financial advice. This is just me showing what I did. And no, I know it's advice that if you know what you're doing, if you make smart decisions and you know kind of what has happened before, you're probably going to make mostly good decisions in the future. All right, we're going to talk about sealed product, the speculation, the buying, selling, flipping, whatever amount of sealed product stuff that people do. I'm going to show you what I do. I'm gonna say that's the same thing with the singles, the same thing with the other stuff. Yes, there's a lot of stuff that I sell. If it's in the personal collection, she's gone forever. That's not being sold. Not gonna happen. But if it is extras, if it's duplicates or stuff that I don't need for that collection, the sealed product I'm not really attached to. So oftentimes I will trade that for cards that I need for my actual collection. If it's sealed product that I don't think is beneficial to open on the channel. If I have the set already complete, if it's mostly complete, that kind of thing. And then playability. My God, people underestimate the amount of damage you can do to yourself by not knowing about playability. If you have no interest in playing the game, if you're a Pokemon collector, if you're spending a ton of time around Pokemon cards, if you don't think you're going to like it, try it. At least try it. At least understand what's going on to some extent. At least understand that some of these cards that are coming out have a huge premium on them because of the fact that they're playable. We're going to get into that as well. I think I covered most of everything. We got a ton of stuff to look through here. Starting off with none other than the first edition base set Charizard. Yes, you can. This is the ultimate metric, the ultimate pump dog. And we're on PokemonPrice.com for anyone that's interested in trying this out or looking at it. And you can just well, I guess there's no 10s that have sold recently, at least according to this chart. We could look that up, but I can guarantee you it's not at a high. We take a look at the 9s here. We can see this is pre-pandemic, and then we go woo, rock'em sock'em. So again, this is a lot of like gradually going up over time. PSA 9s all the way back here, and we're in 2016. We're back in the Pokemon Go original little pump, as we like to call it. We got 1,500 bonies for a PSA 9, and yes, it was like gradually going up in price. Sick. All right, that's kind of what we expect. That's what we want to see if you're buying stuff. If you're, oh my goodness, pandemic time. Okay, yeah, you got to be afraid to buy in around here at any point, unless you're buying and selling it before. Nothing should go up this quickly. It shouldn't. I don't care how much new interest comes into the hobby. And some of that new interest is probably here, the difference between here and out here. Although it does look like it's still kind of on a downward trend. I'm going to say that this is probably not a real sale. Probably a little bit of a bad data point there. But for the most part, you can kind of see what's happening here. It spiked in price like crazy, and now it's returning to normal, and it cannot maintain those prices. This is flipper dipper. No one... I mean, you don't want to be... This is hot potato, essentially. This is hot potato zone. That is the hot potato. And yes, there's a lot of FOMO mixed in there. Everyone's like, holy shit, it's going to keep going up. It's going up. It's going up. It's more expensive every day. I got to buy it. I was just like, nope, done. It was exhausting at the beginning of the pandemic when stuff started to like go up. And you could not like... Back here, you can get a pretty good, taste. You spend enough time around Pokemon, you know what the prices are. You know that it might have gone up a little bit. It might have come down a little bit. But at this point in time, it was exhausting. There was no point in even trying to pretend that you knew what the price of anything was. You had to look everything up. You couldn't even ballpark because it was insane. It was just everything all the time was just people posting new record sale. Oh my God, I can't believe this is this much money. Tendies to the moon. And anyone that kind of set themselves up in this little bit of a... 2016 wasn't dead. But anyone that set themselves up, and this is this like time in the market stuff that you can't tell people that. Most people, I say this all the time, most people are into Pokemon for a year. They burn out, they leave, maybe they come back at some point in time, but they're never in it long enough to really, truly, reap these, like the benefits of these going up in price. It's not sexy. No, it's not. It sucks. Is it exciting? Can you wake up in the morning and be like, holy shit, my Charizard, she 10x'd in price. How sick is that? 10x, baby. I'm rich. But that's not how it works. That's not how it ever worked. And now we got to kind of find our way back down to somewhere in around here, maybe the 2019 area. Maybe the 2018-2019 area, and a little bit of growth off of that. So I think there's still probably a ways to come down off of this. We've noticed it now. All of a sudden, you can't flip and dip sealed product on release for double the money. No, this is back. We're back in the normal zone, guys. Wake up. We're in the normal zone. Welcome to the... Do you really like Pokemon, or are you here to flip it? Because this is what we're dealing with here. We're going to have booster boxes available on release. They're probably going to reduce the print runs. And no, spoiler alert for later in the video, no one can predict when the Pokemon company is going to reprint stuff. I mean, if something's like really in demand and really expensive and it's still very playable and in standard format, yeah, there's a big old red flag on that. Hey, probably going to be reprinted, whether or not it's going to be booster boxes, whether it's going to be in mixed pack products. Who knows? Is there going to be more of those playable cards? Are they going to be reprinted in promo form? Probably. Yeah, a lot of them are. Or they're included in like the player products and stuff like that. But this is what we're looking at here. We're looking at a whole lot of coming on back down to earth, baby. I'm personally excited for it. It's exhausting. To not do that. I guess I was going to look up the eBay 10 sales, but you guys can do that. A little homework for you guys. We can go in here, we can look by set, and you can go last sale, and you can kind of see other than if there's missing prices, what the full set of a price is at the based on the last sales. Again, take that with a little bit of a grain of salt, because yes, there could be some bad data, and especially if the last sale is bad in there. So you might have to look them up individually. Again, this is just like a good way to look at the what the market's doing. Is it coming back down to earth? Is it doing what it should be doing? But also, just like when you're looking at previous sales, it's better to just go on eBay. Again, you gotta look at the individual sale. Say, hey, is this a real thing, or is this somebody that's faking sales? Now, you'll see the same thing with all the other first edition, a lot of the other cards. We're going to go through a lot of examples here. Vintage, and we're going to look at modern too. We're going to look at modern. I'm going to show you exactly what I do with modern cards, outside of the channel stuff, which is a bad example. But I try to tell everyone that all the time. If I do a mass opening, it's a bad idea. If you don't have a YouTube channel and you're not doing it for entertainment purposes, and I guess just in general, you shouldn't open any amount of product if you don't like opening product. Just don't do it. Buy the singles. Buy the cards that you want. If you don't like the cards either, then what are you doing? Why are you here? Why are you watching this video? All right, Alakazam. Same kind of deal. Let's get rid of some of the lower grades here. And these are graded cards as well, so keep that in consideration. Not necessarily the raw dogs, just a little with first edition base. Chances are, if it's in like PSA 9, PSA 10 kind of condition, most people don't have these cards in binders. Some do. I don't know who those people are. But essentially, we got the same thing here. We can see that there is a big old spike dogger. If someone actually paid 20 grand for this, my God, they got burned. Or 15 grand. Looks like the 15 grand has a couple sample sizes there. So yeah, half the money gone, kind of thing, kind of scenario. And it looks like it's still on the downtrend. Again, when there's no money to be made by buying and flipping this stuff immediately, when this thing is a falling knife and no one wants to catch it, that's what we're dealing with here. All right. Dark Charizard, just to show you guys that kind of the same scenario going. Oh, Jesus. All right. I don't know if that's a real sale there for that PSA 9. I sure hope not. But same kind of scenario where we're going up, gradual up, gradual up, gradual up. Too much up. Too much up, guys. Too much up. Disney, the movie up. He's got too many balloons on his house. I haven't even seen that movie, but I assume that's the story behind it, is the fact that he has balloons on his house and he goes up into the sky. That was basically our 2020 ridiculousness. Well, all the way through like 2019, 2020. But yeah, we can see same trend. Doesn't matter what it is. A lot of this vintage stuff, people were buying it because it couldn't go anywhere but up. Well, when it goes too up, too fast, you gotta be concerned. Same thing here. My God, 8 grand, $4,700. Again, for what was less than $1,000, let's call it. And then 8, and then 4. Now, will it ever go back down to $1,000? Under $1,000? Probably not. I mean, there's not a whole lot of this being opened. But again, we don't know how far back this is gonna go. Is it gonna be to the point that it's worse than it was before? Probably not. But I would think that it's got to come back down close to where it was 2018 kind of style. Maybe somewhere up above. Maybe somewhere like where 2019. This early 2019 stuff, maybe somewhere in around there. Should have had a nice little increase instead of this spikerini. Again, Shining Charizard. I know we're using a lot of Charizards because people love the Charizard ball. But again, we showed the Alakazam because it's a lot of the same stuff. Any of these like desirable cards, people were buying this crap up like crazy, regardless of price. Oh, okay. We got a nice little example here. We got Evolutions, everyone's favorite reprint set. And again, guys, please, my God, this was ridiculous. And if I was making the absolute best financial decisions ever in existence, I would have been selling. Man, I think this thing was like 300 CAD at one point. That's disgusting. It's a modern product. These things, Evolutions, my God, XY set. All the way through Sun and Moon. I think even into Sword and Shield a little bit. Every product, every mixed pack product had this shit in it. Everyone hated it. Everyone was like, what the shit? Why am I still getting evolutions in my Sun and Moon and like the tag teams in, I don't know if it was like in around like Sword and Shield base and stuff like that. I think it was. Can't even remember. It was in print for so long. There were so many booster boxes available. I think they were like 80 USD a booster box. No one could get rid of them. No one wanted them. And then this thing spiked like crazy. All this like new interest. A lot of this new interest was largely people that were like, oh man, I was into Pokemon when I was a kid. Let me find my collection. So the pandemic, if anything, if it served any purpose, was definitely to pull those closet collections out of hiding. I think a lot of that stuff came to light. A lot of the garage sale stuff. A lot of the Pokemon cards are expensive. The media told me, so I might as well grab them, pull them out of there. But again, you can open evolutions and make money off of it. But also like just the fact that, oh my goodness. All right. So yeah, back down on our $100 for a PSA 9. And then some of these might be like this here, like this little tag here might be like a hollow bleed one or something that's miscut or upside down back, or who knows, could be an error of some kind, or it could just be a bad data point. Regardless, all right, let's see what we're doing here. All right, we got the Charizard GX. We're getting into modern, and again, remember, we're hype dogging Charizard, hype dogging. Let's get rid of all these lower grades that don't even exist, because no one, why would you grade one that was that low? Yeah, where we at the peak here? $2,200. So this is like coming into the pandemic, I guess, like when it came out. I said it already in this video, but there is a huge tax for anything that is brand new, anything that is shiny, pun intended, with the shiny Charizard GX. Please, unless you know that you're wasting money buying something when it's brand new and shiny, and this isn't always the case, this isn't a written rule, but almost always, you're paying extra because it just came out. If it just came out of a pack, if it's before the set's released, if it's the first wave and there's still going to be it's still going to be hidden fates for another year, and then it's going to trickle out after that. If you're paying $2,200 for this thing, if you're paying $2,000 for this thing, and now you can get it for less than half of that, $700, $500, $600, right in around there. I don't know if this 356 is real. Maybe it was a bad copy that got a 10 because, again, minimum wage employee. My apologies. Oh, no, sorry, not minimum wage. Slightly above minimum wage. Less than $1 more than a McDonald's employee graded this fucker. So keep that. Make sure if you're buying graded cards that you're buying the card, not the grade, or you're buying the card and the grade. Make sure you're looking that over. Rayquaza, same kind of deal. Woo! We're up here in the 45 grand, 34 grand. So we're lacking sample here on the PSA 10 front. There's probably not that many PSA 10s. I don't know what the actual pop is. But again, coming down. On the 9, we're like half the price, a little bit more than half the price. And then whether this $8,100, is it a real thing? Is it just because one hasn't sold in a while? Again, there's not that many of them. I shouldn't say there isn't that many of them. Any set card, there's a lot of set cards. It doesn't matter how hard it is to pull. There are a lot of them. I get it. Gold Stars, not a popular era at the time. But what do we got? Silver Tempest cards. We got the Lugia again. The full art Lugia. We got the Chunkachu, the Hyper Chew. Guys, Hyper Chew. All right, PSA 10, $2,500, $2,000. What are we at now? Oh my goodness, $200. That hurts. So here's the perfect example of new shiny thing, combined with the fact that Vivid Voltage, when it came out, we were a raging, throbbing pandemic at this point in time. And that is both 2 in 1. That is a rest in peace. We got like a 10x multiplier here. 10x divisor. All right, Latios and GX. This is more of a recent example of some stuff that just like the hype got behind it. It doesn't need to be brand new for the hype to get behind it. I can assure you that during Sun and Moon, it's very similar to Scarlet and Violet. It was a very similar feeling. The people that wanted the new cards wanted the new cards. The people that wanted to open and enjoy the new product enjoyed the new product. Everyone else was just like, what are you doing wasting your money on modern product? For the most part, yes. For the most part. Anyway, all of a sudden, for some reason, we have alt arts in Sword and Shield. I guess the people then were like, oh, wait a minute. There are alt arts in Sun and Moon. Not to mention the fact that they are tag teams. There's 2 Pokemon for the price of 1. So it should be double the price, right? So a lot of this is just like, this is FOMO hype, jumping on stuff. And it's not surprising me that we're seeing a drop. Probably going to see a pretty good drop in this. What is this, PSA 9, PSA 10? So it's still up, but again, there's probably some ways for that to come back on down. All right, we got no 7s. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Too much of a spike, and the market is not strong. It is not strong at the moment. We're going to see what is actually wanted and not wanted. And again, it wouldn't surprise me if this drops quite a bit. I do still need one of these. Not looking forward to it. Yeah, I just kind of wish that I was buying indoor. I mean, you can't buy everything. So like hindsight is kind of stupid to get into. I've purchased and I've acquired a lot of awesome cards for the collection. I'll get one someday. But I don't think this is a healthy spike. I get it. Maybe there weren't that many open compared to the Sword and Shield era. That's the thing too. I always mention this. People don't seem to understand. They're just like, oh my God. What was that article? It was like, 8 jibillion cards have been printed in the last couple years of Pokemon. Yeah, well, guess what? The chase cards are also very hard to pull. When you got something that's like 1 in 2,000 packs versus back in the old days when you can complete most of a set in one booster box. Yes. Now, yes, Base Unlimited was printed very heavily, and it wasn't that hard to get everything. But you also have the thing in play where you have kids were just slamming those bad boys in binders. No one was like buying them, grading them immediately. We're gonna see a little bit of that stuff coming up here. Marnie. So Marnie, here's a good example of this is more playability than anything else. I know you're not gonna believe that, guys, but Marnie, the regular holo Marnie, I think it was like $10 or $12 at Sword and Shield Canadian. 10 or 12 bucks Canadian for a holo Marnie, because you didn't even necessarily get one in each booster box. So that's one of those things where if you're opening that stuff and you get a $10 Marnie, you better be selling the $10 Marnie if you're not going to use it. Or if you want $10. Or if you mass open and you're not selling your $10 Marnies, not this one, just the regular holo. This one here, I don't know what it was at its peak. But you can see here we got a little price spike and we got it coming down. So this is the thing. Marnie is no longer playable. It's still a female Pokemon supporter, but it's no longer playable in standard. I should make that clear. In standard, you can't play Marnie anymore. So guess what? Marnie's on the back burner. Now we got Iono. Now we have like 17 different versions of Professor's Research at this point in time. So that's not really a fair comparison. But those $10 Marnies, the holo ones, not this one, it was printed. It was printed in all the decks, all of the, I don't know, there wasn't, yeah, I think it was mostly just products, like decks, pre-constructed decks, in your like build and battle kits and stuff like that. There was like the non-holo version, that kind of stuff. There was lots of Marnies. So that playability aspect wasn't as important at that point in time. They typically do this. They like to do this with a lot of stuff. To make it more affordable for players. You still have your like premium version, and I'm sure this card will do very well in the long term. Again, Sword and Shield base for some reason wasn't printed nearly as much as like in comparison to the other sets around it, nearly as much as like a Sun and Moon base. Oh my God, there was a lot of Sun and Moon base. There was a lot. It was in a lot of things. I think they overdid it. They accidentally left the printers running for an extra month or something. Next example. This is a cool one, a weird one. It came to mind, and this is where you got it. If you're in tune with Pokemon, if you're in tune with playability of stuff, this thing went from like $6 to friggin' $20 back down to $6. I think it was more than this at one point in time too. I don't know why the graph doesn't show it, but it got very expensive because it became playable and people wanted it for their decks. They wanted to bling out their decks and there weren't that many available. It's a rainbow rare. Yes, I get it. The rainbow rares, no one likes them at this point in time. At the end of Sword and Shield, maybe they will someday, but they are hard to pull. And if this was the max rarity version of the card that all of a sudden started seeing a lot of play, it got expensive. It got expensive quick. You could have made some money off of it. Let's say you had this sitting around. You don't really want to list it at $6 because who gives a crap? I don't want $6. Do you want $6? And then all of a sudden, if it's $20, if it's $30, maybe that's worth. Maybe you have a few of them. Chances are you didn't have that many of them because the rainbow, even in the Sword and Shield era, the rainbows were very hard to pull. There were a lot of them, so that makes any individual one pretty tough to get. And, you know, for $6, if you're paying the price of a pack on some of this stuff, we're going to look at that. Don't worry. We're going to look at buying singles. We're going to, for you, anyone that wants to collect a set, anyone that wants to collect, maybe you want to collect all the rainbows, maybe you want to collect all the full arts, maybe you want to collect all the alt arts, I'm going to show you the cheapest way to do it. Now, Miraidon, here's a good example. We had people playing the Miraidon deck. We had also the it was new and fancy. It was the new old, the SIR, the new rarity SIR. Very beautiful cards, underappreciated. And also Miraidon was playable. I don't know if this was like this might have been like pre-release price. I have to look at the actual release date. But we go from $130 all the way down to $20. And this is why I say, please, guys, for the love of God, if you're buying this just for the sake of putting it in the binder and you want to save money, if you want to save $110, chill. Don't buy this shit when it first comes out. If you're putting it in a deck, you don't care about money, you're bling dogging it at your local league, by all means, spend $130 on it. You might need 3 or 4 of them, but that's the price you pay for being a bling dogger. For everyone else, this stuff is going to get so cheap. I mean, I don't know if it's going to get much cheaper than this. It might not. But at $20, think about the amount of product that you got to open. Again, this comes back to the do you open product if you're trying to save money? So open minimal product. If you're opening product, if you open a booster box and the second booster box you don't like it anymore, you're not having a good time, don't open the second booster box. Open 1, open 2. Open however many you want, however many it makes sense. I mean, if you're doing a set, like it's a little bit easier to swallow the price tag on the booster box itself. But like, the more you're doing that, the more money you're losing. Not only on the value at the time, which is why like I keep everything that I open, like my 1 copy of everything, and usually like trade for some of the other stuff on release. Not a good idea. Telling you right now, not a good idea. Financially, not a good idea. You could have waited here. You could have bought this bad boy for $20 instead of trying to complete your set for $130. So it's nice to open. It's fun to open. I like opening my own cards, but there's a huge premium involved with that. If you just held off, and this is not even within the rattle rule, which is cards are almost always their cheapest when they are a generation or 2 old, because people have forgotten about them at that point. They're like the toys in Toy Story. They're the forgotten toys. It doesn't matter how many times you write Andy on them, they're still forgotten. They're gone. No one cares until then. They'll gradually creep up over time. Now, we got Marnie here. So again, the graded Marnies, are we at peak here? $455, and now you can get one for $100. So again, how much this has to do with like pandemic stuff, and again, a new shiny thing. One was Sword and Shield base, so it was cheap, it was expensive. So I guess this was more pandemic. It's still less expensive now, slightly less expensive now than it was at the time. But again, there's been a lot of cards. A lot of people have forgotten that Marnie Full Art was a thing. A lot of people might not even have been like around for that. Tapping Lele is a crazy example. This thing, again, not a popular Pokemon. My apologies to all the Tapu Lele GX enjoyers out there, but Tapu Lele, not a fan favorite. Sorry, not sorry. But this thing was playable AF, and this was the max rarity version. Yes, Sun and Moon, the max rarity, best things you could pull. Everyone was excited about, everyone wanted. Again, it was limited. There weren't that many people that were like buying and wanting modern stuff. Most people were collecting vintage. Some people were playing the game. This was playable. This was playable up the butt. We got the Wonder Tag ability on it. Super playable. I think this thing was like $100 raw. $100 raw, I think, I want to say. But again, same kind of scenario. It's forgotten now that it's not the cool new rarity. It is also not playable anymore in standard format. I don't know how much play it sees in expanded. Again, if you think not that many people play the game, ask people how many people play expanded format. Number is even, it just exponentially smaller each time you keep adding on to that. So here we go. $225, $50. So the PSA 10 is now less than what again, it was like $100. It was $100 Canadian, what I recall at least. So yeah, less for the PSA 10 now than the raw copy was at one point in time. So that's the kind of stuff that, like, okay, well, is now a good time to get a Tapu Lele GX? Probably. I didn't look up what the TCG player was. You can see here, this is the Pokemon Price website. Now, guys, this is where you get the sick, nasty deals. This is, we're hooking you up here. And no, it's not just because you can use code Rattle5 on trollandtoad.com to get 5% off anything that's direct from Troll and Toad. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's not from one of these Evo merchants, like the third-party consignment kind of stuff. $3.59. So we're in Rainbow. We're in Chase Card. Yeah, I know people aren't gonna like that I'm calling a Rainbow Rare Chase Card. But when you're getting in here into like the 3, the 7, you're looking at the prices of the packs are more than what the hits are. And no, I know it's not all of them. Your Charizard is not the price of a pack. But a lot of the stuff that is pretty damn hard to pull is right in there around the price of a pack. It's available. Same thing if we go back and look at Sword and Shield era. What we got Sword and Shield era like full arts. That's Trainer Gallery. Full arts here, $3 for a Magnezone. I know, Magnezone is not your favorite Pokemon. But if you're putting a set together, don't you think maybe this like early Darkness Ablaze and stuff like that, don't you think this is as cheap as it's going to get? When you can get a full art for less than the price of a pack. How much is a Darkness Ablaze booster pack? Let's check on here. Darkness Ablaze booster pack. Should have had this prepped. But I guarantee that it's more than that. Yeah. We got, what the hell? What is it? Troll Live. All right. We just want normal. We want normal. No Troll Live. We want Sword and Shield Darkness Ablaze booster pack. $4.50. $3 for a full art. That's Lost Origin. Darkness Ablaze. $2.79 for a full art Kabu. I know, he's not a waifu. We can get into further and further down here. We got Team Yell Grunt. Sword and Shield base. We can buy 3 of them for $3.50. Again, do you see what I'm getting at? If you can avoid it, if it's not an absolute thing that you need right away, patience. Patience, guys. Just be patient. If you're more interested in this stuff than other people, use your patience, and you're going to do all right. Now we get back into, we got Sun and Moon base set, $7.49 for a Gumshoos. I know, it's a Gumshoos. It's not your favorite Pokemon. But again, this is just kind of like showing what some of these this is moderately played. Ignore that. We got Kingdra here, $8. So what's this? Sun and Moon? Those are Sun and Moon promos. We don't want the promos. Honchkrow, Unbroken Bonds, $8.40. How much is a pack of Unbroken Bonds? It's got to be more than $8.50, right? And you're probably not going to pull a Honchkrow. So just some nice little examples here. Moderately played again. I should have sorted. You can click a button that'll only show you near mint. $9 for a Tauros. This is kind of stuff that, like, okay, Sun and Moon. Yes, I know the only cards people want from Sun and Moon are the tag teams. I think the tag teams, this stuff is untouched. This is the stuff that has just naturally gone down in price because people forgot about it. The Lost Toys. We have the Lost Toys here. And it will gradually go up over time. I can't promise that, but that's been the trend for pretty much everything in existence. And the further you get back here, the bigger the difference is. That Dedenne was expensive too at one point in time. Now it's $9. Minus 5%. All right. Am I making myself clear here? Even XY. Go back to XY. XY, the cards were, okay, there was less printed. There was less product printed. There was an overprinting of product, likely due to the Pokemon Go entry of people into it. We had Roaring Skies. If we're talking about booster boxes, which we'll get into in a minute here, Roaring Skies was expensive. It was taken off. It was living up to its name. The price was sky high, and the Pokemon Company reprinted it. It came back down, but guess what? It's fine now. So that's kind of what we got. Fates Collide here again. Glalie, and I know my apologies, Adam, but there aren't many people other than you that like Glalie. But at the same time, we got a full RDX for $5. Can you find a breakthrough pack for $5? We get into everyone's favorite Evolutions. We got a full art Pidgeot EX for $5. Again, just like countless examples here, very cheap. And yes, I know there's some of the chase cards are going to be more expensive than that. We kind of sorted by lowest. We're going through here, but there are deals to be had. Buying these at this point is way less expensive than going back in time and buying XY booster packs. Even if you could get them at MSRP, this stuff here is going to be cheaper to buy the singles. So again, I got to reiterate, do not open product unless you're having fun and you know that it's not the best value. Don't buy new stuff that everyone's after at the time unless you know that you're wasting money. Now, Sandaconda, alt art. It's an alt art, guys. It's $4.50. Fusion Strike packs. There's probably people out there that are buying $4.49 Fusion Strike packs, and guess what they're not pulling? An alt art. Even though it's not desirable, I get it. It's a snake. People don't like snakes, I guess. I don't know how the Sandaconda is less than the Conkeldurr, though. Like, people really don't like the Conkeldurr. Again, Pogo. We got these bad boys here. Charizards for $6.99. I have a golden rule that no Charizard will ever stay below $10. Just give it a little bit of time. It will not be less than $10. I promise you, it doesn't matter how many Charizard UPCs there are. A card like this is not going to stay $7. No chance. Not even happening. They could print twice as much. They could do a full reprint of the already too large print Charizard UPCs, and this thing is still going to go above $10. Probably in a couple of years. No, is this like a stonk dog move that you can buy these for $7 and flip them overnight? No, absolutely not. But it's a Charizard. It's an alt art essentially. Promo. Blows my mind. Greedent as well. I mean, okay, so the Honchkrow is pretty sick, actually. Kind of surprised that's as low as it is. But again, even the alt arts are no longer the new shiny thing that people are chasing. Like, people are grasping onto anything at this point, to the point that it's these guys. They want felt hat Pikachus. They want something that they can't have. They can't have these. Now people wanted these. Remember when people wanted alt arts? And no, they haven't fallen probably as far as they're going to. But these things are hard to pull. You need to open a lot of product to pull alt arts. And pretty much everything, other than those, like the promo one, like the Charizard that we were looking at there. $17 for a Mewtwo in the city. Like, blows my mind. Genesect. We got these kind of. You gotta accept the fact that these are doing pretty well. $18 for something that was guaranteed in every package. The product itself was pretty expensive, though, I think, for the most part. I don't remember seeing any like sick nasty deals, because usually everyone was buying those up. The Evolutions. So even though they're promos, they're gonna have a little bit of a premium on them. But again, just alt arts, cheap alt arts, guys. You try opening any of this stuff and pulling these things in any efficient manner. It's just not gonna happen. I somehow lost my Dialga, so I'm gonna have to buy another one of these. And then as soon as I do buy it, I'm gonna find it. I traded for one. I know I received it. It's here somewhere. it's lost to. Hopefully I didn't like accidentally knock it into the garbage can or something. But it's okay because it's only $30 now. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the alt arts. Now, booster boxes. Please, guys, the people that are, I would personally never buy a booster box that exceeds the price of what the booster box was on release. Even that's kind of dangerous because we'll look at Vivid Voltage in a second here. But I would never, ever, nope, never paying $400 for this thing. No chance. Why? It could get reprinted. There's still Evolving Skies product and stuff. I know Evolving Skies isn't likely to get reprinted in terms of booster boxes, but you never know. Like we saw Hidden Fates ETBs pop up out of nowhere for no reason. We saw Cosmic Eclipse recently popping up out of nowhere for no reason. It was like individual packs. So the booster boxes, yes, are they less likely to get reprinted? Sure. But this is one of those things where, call me lazy if you want, call me whatever you want to call me, but like there's so much risk involved with this for what? Not to mention the fact that like, can it go up that much more if it does get reprinted and it comes back down to $100? Will it go up eventually? Yeah. Will it be at $400 eventually? Yes. But buying it at $400, having the risk of it going down to $100, or just like, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that you could buy for $400. Now, buying this on release, if you did buy this on release, you did great. You did awesome. It's $400 now. Let's say you got 100. It's probably, I don't think it was ever $100. Let's say it was $100. You 4x'd your money. Sick nasty. You can see there's some ups and downs here. There was a reprint. It was tiny. That could have been huge. You don't know what the Pokemon Company is going to do. It could have been gigantic. This thing could have stayed at $100 for 5 years. If they just absolutely printed the living hell out of it. I think they underprinted the reprint. Clearly they have, if it's $400 at this point in time. Again, it was a couple years old now. I can't remember. It's getting older. So yes, it's less likely to get reprinted at this point. There are still products. If you're looking to open this, please, for the love of God, do not spend the $400 for a booster box. You can get mixed pack products that have Evolving Skies in them. Even that is, in my opinion, not a good financial decision. But if you're doing it for fun, if you really just want to open Evolving Skies for the sake of opening Evolving Skies, you just really want to scratch that Moonbryon itch, you really want to open 3,700 packs, 3,711 packs to find one, you can do it. And you can do it in a much more affordable way than this. No, the odds are not any better with a booster box. My apologies. So here's a good example of if you bought this thing at the peak of peaks, you could have got pretty dicked on. I don't know if this is going to show the actual like peak of the prices. I know this was like $200 on release. I guess we only go back as far as 1 year here. So I don't know what the max was. I want to say it was like a few $100 for this thing. This is what reprints do. This is what reprints could have done to Evolving Skies. It could have easily brought this back down to $140. Remember when everyone wanted Vivid Voltage? It came out. There was the Rainbow Pikachu. No one cares anymore. Maybe they will eventually. Eventually, there's going to be people that are like, oh man, remember Chunky Chew? Rainbow Max to the extreme? I do. I was there for that. But again, buying the single card, the Pikachu on release versus now, you would be crazy to have purchased it back then because now it's forgotten. And if it's something that you truly enjoy, you can pick it up later. And that's why I don't feel like you need to jump on anything if it's going crazy. In terms of booster boxes, if you're a sealed collector, just buy one on release. Just buy one on release. As long as the price is good on release, as long as it's not inflated. Like Vivid Voltage on release, it was like $200 Canadian or something like that. Maybe you want to hold off on that. Maybe you don't. It's not the end of the world if you don't. Maybe if you just want one and it's for the seal collection, or if you want a couple, maybe you're holding one for the seal collection, you want to sell one later on. Like just buy them on release. not only is there the benefit of like, there's very little to lose if you're buying it on release for MSRP. Let's say you want to hold on to a Paradox Rift booster box, and you go on to psapikachu.com to buy one at $99.99 USD. Sick, nasty deal. Would advise. That's coming out. We got a live stream on Friday. I need to post that, schedule that. But yeah, I'll be opening 4 cases. Would not advise doing that. Gonna lose money for sure. Gonna lose value versus like the sealed product, but it's gonna be fun. Want to see if I can complete the entire set by opening it. But what is there? Where can this go? So let's say it goes to $80. You lost $20 temporarily. Like there's only, it can only go down so far. It will over time go up in value. I can promise that. Unless Pokemon dies entirely, which I can't see it happening. Will it die down? Has it died down since the pandemic? Yeah, absolutely. But guess what? All the unpopular sets, even your Steam Siege used to be a meme. It used to be like, oh, Steam Siege is never going up. It's too available. It's sucky. The shiny Pokemon are not even chase cards. Look at Steam Siege. Is it $100 anymore? I think booster boxes might have been a little bit less expensive than that at that point in time too. We got inflation here playing a little bit of a role. But yeah, what is there to lose? Not to mention the fact that why would I ever predict whether or not a set is going to do well? You cannot predict it. You can min-max, you can make some graphs, you can make some notes, you can pretend that you're a fucking financial guru, but you're not. No one knows. No one can predict the future. No one knows the Paradox Rift is going to go up more than any other set. You can't tell. We had a Darkness. Was it Darkness? No, not Darkness. Rebel Clash ETBs. Very expensive. Super duper expensive. Why were they expensive? Hold on. It's Rebel Clash ETB. We're doing this on the fly. I guess we need a Elite Trainer box. Rebel Clash Elite Trainer box. Box set, $169. What are they on TCG Player? TCG Player, Rebel Clash, Elite Trainer box. No one likes Rebel Clash. They call it Rebel Trash. They're like, it sucks. So many wieners. I never want to touch it. I never want to have it. But that's the thing. Is there even one on here? What am I looking at? Where's the Rebel Clash? The Rebel Clash Elite Trainer box, not booster box, sorry. Elite Trainer box was more than any other Elite Trainer box. It might not be more than the Evolving Skies at this point in time, but it was expensive. And do you know why it was expensive? Because it didn't get a reprint. Because no one wanted it, and now it's expensive as a sealed product because it's harder to find. Anyone that had it probably just opened it because they were like, oh, there's no value here. That's the thing too. Everyone's going to say, oh, everybody ever has a Sword and Shield sealed product on their shelves. They have it behind them in their gamer setup. Yeah, they do. But guess what? They're going to end up opening it, or they're going to end up selling it to someone that opens it. It's going to get opened. It finds a way to get opened. If it doesn't go up in value, people care less about it. They're less like prone to being like, oh, I better not open this. It's really expensive, and the cards inside are very cheap, because Rattle taught us that we can go buy them cheap after they're a generation or two old. But that's kind of what we're dealing with here. Now, in terms of the Japanese stuff, be careful. Everything is still very expensive. Just like our Vivid Voltage booster box was on release, it was super expensive. If you're looking to collect Japanese sealed product, please get it from somewhere reputable. Make sure, and at the very least, even if you have the most reputable seller, they're only charging you double MSRP instead of triple. Go on, get on over, make a Buyee account, make a Tenzo account, set yourself up. That's going to be a future video. I'll have to set up and explain how to do this exactly in detail. But you have this stuff here that says available by invitation. Some of it ships to Canada. Some of it might not, or to the US. If it doesn't, you can use your Buyee or Tenzo for the Amazon Japan stuff. For the Pokemon Center lottery that is similar to this, essentially you sign up for it. You'll click on the Oh. I already clicked on the invitation requested, and it says thank you. Sweet. And essentially, if they choose you, you can purchase it. And guess what? You get to purchase it for 5,412 yen, which is way cheaper than it will be from anyone that's reselling it. Not to mention the fact that it's going to come from somewhere reputable. It's going to come either direct from Pokemon, direct from Amazon. Same with the Pokemon Center online, the Japanese Pokemon Center. It's going to be reputable. It's going to be, you don't have to worry about the box being resealed, essentially, is what I'm trying to get at. And I guess on that point, with the English stuff, with the why I say just buy your own boxes, is the fact that, like, if you're buying it later on, if you got a $400 Evolving Skies booster box, there's much more incentive for someone to reseal that than they would a $100 box, right? So why not get the $100 box while it's $100? Get it from somewhere reputable. Keep your receipt so that even if you want to hold on to that thing for 20 years, in 20 years you'll have your receipt, your psapikachu.com receipt, and you can say, here's where I bought it. I'm the only owner, and it's going to add credibility. It's going to be packaged well, and you didn't buy it from some G-baller on Facebook Marketplace in a back alley where he says that you can either pay in cash or in hand jobs. Just buy it. Just buy it when it's cheap. Buy if you want a variety of things. If you only want your favorite sets, buy your own favorite set, a box of each or whatever. But in terms of if you want the lazy, the easy, the I can't predict the future, so I'm not going to try to way, just buy one of each. Still have money? Buy two of each. Still have money? Buy a case of each. If that's what you want to do. Now, there's no guarantee that it's going to go up in value faster than something else could that you could put your money into. But in terms of zero effort, other than, yes, it's going to take storage space. So if you're getting into like the promo boxes and stuff like that, yeah, you're going to take up a lot of space for very little money. With booster boxes, that's typically why it's the most popular, I guess, sealed item, is the fact that it takes up little space. Not to mention the fact if you're shipping it, depending on where you're located, shipping in the States is a little bit easier, a little bit better. But if you have 16 different size boxes, you see this time and time again. Somebody will like, oh, it's a sealed product collection. I'm going to stonk dog. I'm going to sell it eventually. And then they're trying to sell it all at once instead of selling it individually to get the most money for it. And then also the fact that like they don't want to ship it. They don't want to put it on eBay because they need 17 different size boxes. Instead of just having, if you only have booster boxes, or if you have booster boxes and ETBs, you can get a stack of boxes that fit those. You can get the nice packing material inside. You get a nice little system down. Takes 2 seconds to package it up, stick it in a box. Not to mention also, in terms of the shipping cost, depending where you're located, it can be cheaper to send something like that. If in terms of size, like in terms of price. So like if a promo box, okay, it went from $15 to it's now $30. I doubled my money and I want to sell it. Well, your shipping cost is going to eat most of that up versus if you have something like a booster box. Yes, it's more expensive to buy the one booster box than it is to buy promo boxes or whatever. But also just when taking into consideration that you got like fees and shipping on it, if it doubles, at least you're still making money on it. I probably wouldn't recommend if you're just like looking to buy boxes and sell them when they double, but you know, that's the math that you need to do. That's what you need to figure out. Hopefully there's been a couple tips and tricks in this video that I didn't intend to be an hour long, but it's almost that. Join the Discord. I'll see you guys on Friday for the live stream. It's going to be fun. I'm going to open a lot of cards. Going to try to complete the set. And that's it. If there's anything that you guys thought was useful in here, if there's anything that I missed that you want to add to it, feel free to drop a comment down below. I'll go through those, take a look. But this is just the easy peasy Rattle non-stonk dogger way of the long game. You just play the long game. You're in it. You buy stuff when it's a good deal. You don't rush. You don't FOMO. You don't buy the new shiny thing that people are all after. It almost never works out well that way. If it's something that everyone wants, now not saying it never happens. It's never like okay, this is the only chance. People aren't going to forget about it. It's not going to come back down. But there's no absolutes. There's no predicting the future. So just make smart decisions and you'll be all right. Make smart decisions. Don't burn yourself out on Pokemon. Be in it for the long term and you're going to be just fine. I promise you're going to be just fine. But you do have to put the effort in to learn what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, please don't. A lot of like, what should I buy comments and questions. If you have to ask that, spend more time looking at Pokemon stuff. All right, see you next time. Bye.